Folks, they'll do anything but drop the price. I'll get into that, and then the latest home prices and insights for condos across the GTA for week ending October 23rd, 2024. I'm working with two couples, condo buyers. They're both two separate. They have, they're two separate buyer situations, but they both want a new building, really, really new, and they prefer a unit that has not been lived in. And we're buying resale. We're not buying pre-construction. And if you're wondering, well, how is that possible that they buy a unit not lived in? It's very possible today. There are lots of units that just closed this year that are being sold that have never been lived in. And we'll go look at these units. Now, there's lots of those being sold by the actual seller who bought from the condo owner, who bought from the builder, let me say. But there's also units in the same building. Now, the building has closed, but they're being sold by the builder. So the builder, even though the building is built, has some units that were not sold that has them for sale. Now, maybe they were sold and the buyers pulled out before closing and now the builder has these. Or maybe when the project came up for sale years ago, they didn't sell out and the builder just moved forward with the project and figured before closing, I'll have them sold. That never happened. And now the builder owns these units and is selling them. Either way, there's properties or condos being sold in a building that have never been lived in. Some are being sold by the actual condo owner who recently closed, and others are being sold by the builder as new units. And when you buy those, your agreement and purchase and sale is on the builder forms. It's not a typical resale agreement of purchase and sale. I'm telling you this because there is a difference when it comes to these units. They're both vacant, both whether sold by the homeowner or the builder, have never been lived in, but the price is different. The builder's unit almost always is more expensive. And my clients are always wondering, but why? It's been sitting on the market for so long. Why is it more expensive than the other one? And in many cases, there's more closing costs when you're buying directly from the builder. And when I call the agent that's listed the property on behalf of the builder, and I say, what's going on? You've got the same unit in your building or very, very similar. It's cheaper. The agent almost always says, that's the price. The builder isn't budging. They'll give you incentives. They'll do this, they'll do that, they'll whatever, but they're not budging on price. I have builder friends that I know. I have other professional acquaintances that are involved with condo marketing and pricing, all sorts of things like that. And from time to time, we get into conversations. And they will ask me, because I'm working with condo buyers, they will ask me, Santo, what are your buyers looking for? What incentives can we give them to move product? And they're always thinking amenities, other incentives, and other, perks and things they can do. And I'm almost always saying, that's nice. What about price? They don't want to budge in price. They never want to hear it. When I say, why don't you lower your prices? It's like, they gasp, they do the sign of the, no, not lowering prices. They will offer you everything. I get emails every single day of the new projects with this incentive and that incentive, and really just trying to attract buyers. But they're doing everything except what most buyers want. They want a better price. And the builders just are not prepared to do that. It's like there's a standoff. This is the price that the builder's offering. This is what the buyer wants to do here. We're going to, in time, know who's going to budge. But right now, the builders aren't budging. If you feel this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. There's a link to my calendar up here, another one below this video in the description. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. We'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, this show is about condo apartments, but we have a really nice condo townhouse for sale. Check out the video at the end of this video. Let's get started. Condo apartments for the Peel region, York region, and the city of Toronto. From the previous week to the week we're in now, October 23rd, average prices came up across the board. Let's get started. We're going to start off with the city of Toronto. Now, the previous week, ending October 16th, I put a star here to remind me to talk to you about it. Last week when I did this show, I was talking about sales are down from the previous week. Is this where the fall market sales increase, and now we start to see it turn around? Totally forgot to mention that this 1 week there, that was the week of Thanksgiving weekend, and we know every time there's either a long weekend or something to that effect, sales usually tend to drop for that 1 week. And so that may explain why sales drop down, because this week ending October 23rd, we've had our highest sales in the fall market for condo apartments. 219 were sold across the city of Toronto. 32 of those, which is a spectacular week when it comes to condos selling at $1 million or more. 32 sold at $1 million or more. It was a busy week, relatively speaking, to the last few months when it comes to condo apartments. Average sold price is up from the previous week to $715,000. 715 is 4% higher than where we were this time a year ago. The median price, sorry, my clicker, here we go. The median price is 2% lower. The dotted line, that's a 4-week moving average. If we look at average prices, it's been for the fall market, average prices for condos has been trending up. If we look at the median price, it's kind of tough to see. It's up and down, but just slightly. I believe it's more flat. The median price really hasn't moved much over the fall market. 219 were sold, 24% sold at list price or more. Listings. Although listings are up from the previous week, they have been trending down over the fall market. September 11th, we listed almost 1,100, almost 1,100 condos. Last week, we listed 635. Active listings has been trending up. Hasn't moved very much though, but this 1 week it did come down a little bit. Months of inventory. Overall, if we kind of go back to the beginning of September, kind of looks like months of inventory is trending down. We're now sitting at 5.6 months of inventory. So pretty much still in a buyer's market, but right at the bottom end of a buyer's market. More buyers, maybe balanced buyer's market is what you're going to experience out there. That's the city of Toronto only for condo apartments. That's the whole city. Let's look at the city broken down into 9 sections. Now we say the whole city averages out to 5.6 months of inventory, but there's some neighborhoods much lower, outperforming the whole city average. So East York, 3.8 months of inventory. High Park, it's higher actually. It's at 6 months of inventory in High Park. York Mills, Rosedale, so Midtown, 5.3 months of inventory. Downtown is 6.7. Etobicoke is 3.8 months of inventory. You're going to experience different markets in different parts of the city. Downtown, a lot more properties available for sale, a lot more condos kind of just sitting there. Sales are higher downtown, but there's way more condos available for sale. Lots of choices in downtown. Here's York Region condos. 42 condos were sold. 3 of those were at $1 million or more. Let's forget the previous week being the Thanksgiving weekend. 42 condos. It's kind of in line to what sales have been since middle of September. Average price has been bouncing up and down on a weekly basis. It's now sitting at $693,000 for the average condo being sold in York Region. 693 is 1% higher than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 5% lower. Doesn't look like it averages out to prices over the last 4 or 5 weeks have been kind of flat for York Region condos. Of the 42 that sold, 21% sold at list price or more. Listings came down from the September 11 high, but since the beginning of October, listings have been relatively flat. 125 condos were sold. Active listings also over the same time period, relatively, it kind of makes sense, right? If we say sales are pretty much the same and listings are pretty much the same, well then active listings are going to be pretty much the same over the last 4 weeks. Months of inventory, let's forget the previous week, the Thanksgiving weekend, but before that, months of inventory, pretty much the same, right? And prices, pretty flat. Not a lot of changes over the last 4 or 5 weeks when it comes to York Region condos. Months of inventory sitting at 5.1 months of inventory. Here's Peel Region condos. Sales, looks like they're trending up. 46 condos were sold for week ending October 23rd. 2 of those were at $1 million or more. Average sold price up a little bit from the previous couple weeks, now at $596,000. $596 is 2% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 5% lower. 46 were sold, 13% sold at list price or more. Listings, looks like they've been trending down, but they jumped up quite a bit from last week to this week. Active listings, not a lot of changes over the last few weeks. And months of inventory, looks like it's coming down. We're now sitting at 4.4 months of inventory. Here's a quick summary. In most cases, you're going to experience a balanced market. Some areas, it'll be more of a buyer's market. That's the condo show. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. You're about to see the inside of 75 Weldrick Road East, Unit 742. This is an updated 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo complex.